Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and happy new year, happy new planner weeks, happy new planner months. I hope things are going really great for you. I am already behind in my 2026 system, so I thought we would just chat a little bit about sort of like a informal planner system update because I did make a couple of changes based off some Christmas surprises that I had. And then once we kind of go through that, I thought I would flip the camera around and we'll actually get caught up on some of my journaling pages because yes, I'm already behind in my 2026 notebooks. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So if you've got some catching up to do, or maybe you're working on your current page, feel free to join me. Okay, so let's get into the informal planner system update. So my general ethos or like plan for planning this year isn't really changing. I want one dedicated memory keeper archive book, and then I'm going to sort of just allow myself to flow between planners based off just whatever is sparking interest at the time. So keeping it on the smaller side, so it's still kind of like a purse planner available. I am putting the caveat that I don't want to introduce any other dated books into this category for 2026. So the Hobonichi Weeks Mega is my only one. I just did a flip through my December pages over on my Patreon. So if you want to see that, that's part of the monthly memo video that I release every month. So I thought that was going to be my first purse planner for the year, but I'm really not reaching for it. So other than that, I know I want to have pretty much undated books. So I might be in the Hobonichi Weeks, pocket rings, personal rings, or my current muse is the pocket bullet journal. I set this up in December and it's just the one I keep reaching for. I came back from the holidays and set up my pocket rings thinking like, yep, I will be right back in it. I feel like everyone is in a Filofax this year and I am missing out, but you know what? This is just what's calling me. It's super effortless and creative. I don't know. I think like my relationship with the pocket Leustrums is it's sort of like what I envision people who are really dedicated to field notes notebooks are like, because it's self-contained. I can throw it in my bag and pretty much any pen for the most part works on it. I scribble notes live and I can just throw anything at it. I'll probably do a separate video like specifically on this if I don't end up showing as part of this video. You'll see a few pages because I'll have to reference it to fill out my journal, but this was kind of the only thing I touched over the final week of 2025 and the first couple weeks so far of 2026. So I am in my pocket bullet journal as my current EDC. My journal, however, I set up the Hobonichi Cousin and I absolutely loved it. However, I got a little bit of a surprise Christmas gift from my parents. We're kind of boring gift givers in my family. We send like 3 direct links, specific colorways, etc. And it's like surprised me kind of within that. But I got something off script for Christmas and my parents surprised me with the Hobonichi Potr cover, P-O-T-R, I think that's how you say it. When I was home at my parents around Hobonichi preview time, and I remember talking about this with my mom, like, oh, I'd always love it, but it's very expensive for a nylon cover, so I've never really gone for it. And I kind of wasn't thinking A6 was going to be on my radar for 2026. So yeah, it was a complete surprise. And now that I had it, it was one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, my parents remembered. I felt really attached to it already. I thought I would maybe let the data book go, keep the cover, and then find another A6 notebook to put in it for another purpose. But I didn't touch my notebooks, as I mentioned. So my 2026 cousin, when I got home, I hadn't put anything in it, and I just kind of slowly started trying to work on the weekly spreads. Objectively, they did turn out really good. But ultimately, I'm really struggling to hit my groove, especially with the daily pages. I had like a banger on day 1, and then ever since it's just been like not even a quarter of the way used pages. So haven't really hit my stride. Could I have given it a couple more weeks to like really warm up to it? Probably. But I am just a girl and I cannot resist the allure of the A6 Techo. So I did start moving into that, and this is what we're going to be working on, like updating and backfilling today. But I just did a couple of spreads over the weekend and it was instantly like, yeah, this is just easier. I find the A6 size objectively like easier for me to composition a page. They take anywhere from 15 to 10 minutes if I have a really large photo for me to fill out. And I like the smaller size. What can I say? So I had big dreams with the Cousin. I will still keep the Cousin. I'll put it kind of in like a purgatory shelf on my bookshelf back here, so I can kind of use it as like a little bit of a notebook playground throughout the year if I want to. So it'll still get used in some capacity. Hopefully you guys don't see me backfilling one in like August of 2026, but I really want to commit to sticking to this notebook as my journal and memory keeper for 2026. So wish me luck with this guy. In fact, I have made it one of my goals for 2026 to stay in the A6 Techo. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I just am working on some dailies. I think today we're just going to work on backfilling the handful of dailies that I still have empty. I have not yet set up like the trackers, lists, and logs on the A6 size, and I want to meditate on that a little bit more, figure out what I want to do. It will objectively be easier in here than it was on my Hobonichi Cousin because you get a lot of grid pages in the English edition of the A6 Techo. Just got to figure out like the ordering and things like that. So I'll report back on what that looks like in a future video, but for now, let's flip the camera around and do some journaling together. All right, so my unofficial mini review of this cover thus far, it is pretty expensive for a nylon cover, and I stand by that statement. However, I will say that it is really nice quality. The stitches are really clean. I haven't noticed any like loose threads or loose edges, and there's little details in here that I think are just a nice touch. Like the zipper compartment in the back has this little protector, so it doesn't actually interact with the back page of your notebook. It's a smooth surface on the back of your pages. The pen loop is elasticated, but you kind of have to work at it to stretch it. So I haven't tried my Pilot Vanishing Point, but with this type of loop, I typically just clip it. I have very boringly started using Sakura Pigma Microns again in 01 because I have like a 10-pack lying around. I'm on a stationary low buy this year, and I'm sort of on like a mini project pan to use up all of my pens that aren't fountain pens. So we're working through the infinite stack of Microns in 2026. So yeah, this will clip on here, and then I often just keep my pencil in here. I've been playing around with using this sort of like as my pencil case. So I have my core things in here: an eraser, pair of tweezers, pencil, and a pen. I've got some of my go-to stickers in the Traveler's Company case, and then I will keep my notebook in here. There are pockets on the front, which I like, and a strap on the back, which I don't think I will ever actively use this strap, but I am planning on going to Chicago Stationery Fest this year, and if I can get tickets, Yoseka Stationery Fest, I think it would be kind of funny to walk around and like wear this like a purse. So maybe you'll see me there and you'll see me with this as a bag, but I am really liking that. And then right now, because the Techo isn't full, my bullet journal actually fits in here, and it will zip closed, and I can kind of carry this around when I'm traveling. So liking that thus far. But for the most part, because I did put some pens in the back, I am taking the notebook out to journal in, which I don't usually do. I haven't done like the planner setup portion yet, or the archiving setup portion. I've just indexed a couple of things. I did this monthly, and that was when I was like, yes. I backfilled into this, and I was like, this is peaceful planning, Lindsay. Like, life's too short to fight your planners month 1 of the year. So, and then I did just kind of start doing some of my daily pages with some ephemera that I had, and I did sit down and print out a couple of pictures from early January just so that I could have those in the notebook. And then again, haven't really done anything in the back other than my the goals page, my words to remember. I'm doing visual goals on, so printing out pictures off of Pinterest that kind of set the tone. And then I did bring the planner system log over here, although I'm using different colors, which is what I was doing in the back of my Hobonichi weeks. But otherwise, I will get this all set up sometime later this week, but we're taking our time with it in 2026. So anyway, let's flip to the first. I will probably put some music on. I don't know if I can chat through this whole thing. I'm a little bit out of practice, and I feel like I've been chatting maybe a bit too much for this video, so we'll mix it up. I think I'll layer over some music, and then I'll pop in and add some commentary as we go. But let's at least knock out January 1st. Okay, so the way I typically do my pages is I would go Affirma first, bold writing. My pen of choice right now is the Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen, which is, I guess, like a ride or die at this point. And then what I'm doing with this setup is, you'll see kind of further in the year, I will draw tick boxes at the top, and those are representing my 4 daily habits that I'm trying to do every day. And then in the grid square boxes up top, I will just transfer the most important completed tasks. What makes this as an archive is that if there's any sort of like reference information, maybe important notes that I definitely want to find again, I would prioritize putting that in next and then indexing that in the front. But then otherwise, I'm just coming in and journaling about the day. And because I don't necessarily fill this out every single day, if like it was just a boring Wednesday and nothing of note happened, I can repurpose the page to archive notes that might be more important if I already filled up a page, or if like important life events happen on the same day as taking important notes on something that I want to find again. All right, that is the first done and indexed up here. I just checked the second and third in my bullet journal, and I will need to like sit and meditate on what it is that I want to journal about. So I think I'm gonna skip ahead to the 4th and the 5th because I already printed out pictures for this. I don't think I have dailies for the 4th and the 5th, but I remember what happened. Another trick that I will do, because the first part of the year and the second, like the last month of the year, the hardest for me to fill out because there's like a big drop, I actually fold the notebook back on itself to create a more even writing surface. And the Hobonichi holds up to this really, really well. So I feel like I can definitely endorse doing that. And then I know I'll get asked, like, why do I hold the pencil board down? And that is because I write pretty small. So when I'm writing throughout the page, if I just have my hand, the paper itself almost like bounces back a little bit. So when I do this, it just helps apply pressure to the page and it keeps a very flat writing surface for me. And then if I did have any kind of writing earlier, I have pretty clammy hands, so it keeps me from touching the ink. So you'll see me do that a lot. This is the Moomin pencil board for 2026 and I'm obsessed with it. All right, let's pull out the stencil. This is the Hobonichi stencil in green, and my pencil, because it was around the 4th when I actually kind of got back into doing my daily habits. So I just line this up with the corner of the date box, and then with a pencil, I go in and give myself 4 check boxes. And I actually am going to create a key for this, I think. So we'll do that, and then I'll write that out. So going left from right, it is syncing my app in the morning for my cycle tracking. Second is working out or just going for a walk. I'm gonna take up more space that way. Third is logging my meals. And then 4th is no buy day, because I'm on a stationary low buy through to September of this year, and at the February will be 6 months into the challenge, so I'll probably do a YouTube video for that. But if you want to follow along real time, all of my low buy content is over on my Patreon. Oh, I don't know why I did that. I'm not done. Okay, let me get into journaling about these. All right, I did just want to point this out. So I am using Stylogy washi dots to tag reference information. So because I won't like write out what my habits are anywhere else in my notebook, this is the only place. I put an asterisk next to my entry and my index and wrote habit key, and that just means that there's information I want to find on there again. And I've been using the 6mm dots just to tag that, and for things I want to reference again, which I know I will be referencing this for a bit, I've been taking that same dot and I fold it over the edge of the page so I know that there's something I want to find again on that page. I won't do this with everything that I index, but if it's something I know I'll flip back to, so it'll take me a little bit to get this new key down because it's a little different than last year's. So that's why I went ahead and indexed that. right, I think that is enough on my pages. Real time, that took me about 18 minutes to do all 3 pages, so I was zooming through that faster than normal even, actually. Well, wait, I have to look at the clips. I think I restarted. These 2 pages took me 18 minutes real time, and then 6 minutes for this. So 24 minutes for 3 sprints. I think that's pretty good. Part of the reason I think I'm really liking the A6 thus far. So anyway, I think we will wrap things up there. Thank you for hanging out with me in the new year. I hope you are getting caught up in your planners, and no worries if not. You're not behind if you have blank pages. It's just part of the process of planning on paper. I swear it is. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I will talk to you soon. I am low-key cackling that my vacuum cleaner is just in the background. Oh well, it's real life, guys.